We're Noah and Kelsey Mathes, and we live in Abilene, Texas. We've been foster parents for 7 months now. So growing up, my parents have always kind of taken just random family members or anybody that needed help, and they would stay with us for a couple months. And then kind of as I got older, I realized how much of a blessing it was for those people to have somewhere they can go and stay and feel safe.
There's so many babies that need somebody, and we have a perfectly good home. We have love to give, and so that was something that we can do, and so why not?
We really felt like God was calling us, like just stuff was falling in place. And so we felt like that's what God was calling us to do, so we looked into it a little bit, and everything just started kind of working.
I have always wanted to adopt, and I have always wanted to, whether we had biological children, we did foster care, we adopted, they were all going to be considered my babies. And it didn't matter to me if they were biological or not. And so adoption was always something that was going to be on our plate, and I wanted to make sure that whoever I married was also in the same line.
For me, it's almost weird if we were to have some of the older kids that are like 15, 16, because I honestly don't feel like I really have enough of life experience to help them and to really know how to like handle kids that old. So we figured we'd start how most people start, with babies. And she wants to be a NICU nurse one day, and so she loves little tiny babies and stuff like that, and she wants to take care of them. She likes them when she can't talk or walk. They have to. We've had 3 placements. They were all little girls. First one we had for about 4 months, and we got her at 8 months old.
And she left right after her first birthday. And then we got, about 2 weeks later, we got a little girl. She was about 6 weeks premature, and we got her at 3 days old, and we had her for 2 weeks. And then after she left, there was about a 3-day intermittent period, and then we got our current placement at 2 days old.
If any of our placements come up where we can adopt them, we're definitely going to adopt them in a heartbeat. But just right now, we haven't, kind of bittersweet. We've always gone back to the family, so we're glad that the family gets to have them. We don't want to rip a family apart. But if the rights do get terminated and they don't end up going to a family member, we are more than happy to adopt them.
Logistically, it works way better than I think if you worked a 9 to 5 or I worked a 9 to 5, because you work 24 hours on, 48 off as a firefighter. You're actually home a lot more than a normal husband's job if they work 9 to 5. So, and I'm a nursing student, so I'm gone at class and clinicals quite often during the week, but I have every weekend off as far as right now. And so on the days that, he's working and I'm at school, which isn't too often, the schedule works out very well. We have an amazing nanny that comes in and takes care of our littles while we're working or while we're at school. And we have a great support system and great friends that jump in and help whenever they need to, whenever they can.
So when we got our first placement, we were pretty happy, and we called our parents, all of our family, all of our friends, let them know we got a placement. Like, we were actually in Dallas when we got the call, so we had to drive 3 hours back to Abilene to pick up the placement. That entire time we were on the phone with people.
We were very excited.
And when we found out 4 months later she was going back to family, we wanted to let people know. And so we started calling a lot of people.
Our close family and friends.
And there's somebody we knew back in Dallas, they do foster family too, and I kind of called him about it. They'd been doing it a little bit longer than us, and just asked them like how they did it. Because for me, we were glad to see her go back to her family, but we were very sad. We'd had her for 4 months. We loved her, and we were really sad to see her go.
It's not as an exciting phone call to make, especially when you're in the moment and you're sad because they're going, but you're also happy that they're going back to family, like you said. And you made the statement at one point, I've never been so okay with being sad. For me, it's just giving all of your love in the moment. and you don't know what tomorrow is going to hold. You don't know if you're going to have a new baby tomorrow. You don't know what's going to happen or what kind of case you're going to get. It's very unpredictable. Some of the cases that you'll get are very heartbreaking, but to know that you're the one who gets to step in and change that baby's story is something that makes having to let them go worth it.
A big part of it is some people are like, oh, we had our first placement was really tough. It was first time to have somebody go back to their family. We had her longer than we've had anybody else, and she was a little bit older, so she could kind of, we would wake up in the mornings, I'd go in her room and she'd be standing up waiting for me, and I'd pick her up and we'd come sit down here and watch TV, and she'd like snuggle up to me. Like, that's hard to let go of. And so even if you know you're going to have a kid for 2 months, like, you still, these kids need love, so we give them the love. And even if you know they're going to be going away, you still get attached. And so some people kind of weren't understanding why I was so sad. They were like, oh, well, it's just part of it. But I mean, you're really losing a part of you. And going into this, you have to be willing to do that.
We do it because we know that we are capable of doing it. And, it's so easy to say, oh, I couldn't do it. I'll just let somebody else do it. It's so easy to let that happen. But it's so worth it, and just so worth it to be the person that steps up, that goes, you know what, I have all this, I can do it. And you know that when that child is in your home, they are getting the best care possible. They're getting all the love that you know that you can give them.